Okay, the first thing we need to do is set up a development environment. And a development environment is going to give you a place where you can develop your websites locally without having to connect to an online hosting service like GoDaddy or anything like that. It's totally free, and it's the way that most developers develop their websites. That way you can test everything out before it goes live. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to have to do is download two applications. The first one being this, which I'll provide the links in the description below. Now this Xampp is basically your personal server that's going to run on your local machine. It's available for all three platforms, so whether you're Windows, Linux, or Mac, you'll be able to run it. So go ahead and download that one first. And then while that's downloading, go to this website and grab Notepad++. Now, a special note for Mac users, this is not available on Mac, but luckily there is an alternative that you can get called Wrangler, and I'll provide a link in the description below. So once you finish downloading both of these, and I've already got my download done, we're just going to run the Xampp installer. You're going to get a little warning here you can just ignore. Okay. Next. We want to keep all these checked as eventually we're going to use most of these. So hit next. Now it's going to ask you where to install it. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to recommend that you stay away from the C drive program files folder. It has some permission issues and it can cause some problems. So for me, I'm going to put mine into D drive, my server, and hit next. We're going to uncheck that we want to learn more because we really don't. And then we're going to start the setup. So while this is installing, let me just explain a little bit of what this program does. We're going to run this program before we start any development. And what it's going to do, it's going to literally create our own emulated hosting service on our own personal computer. And that's really handy because it makes development much faster, and it also allows us to run things that typically can't be run on your machine, such as a WordPress install, or if you're connecting to a CDN network. All of these will be available to us, and it will make development really, really fast. Now, the way that we're going to set it up is a little bit different than the standard installation, and the reason for that is because we want to create an environment where once it's set up once, we're going to be done, and we'll just be able to make new folders in this one folder for every individual website we create. That way, we can just quickly go between projects, or if we have multiple projects at the same time, we don't have to worry about setting up different configurations. So we're just going to give this another second here to finish its install. It does take a little bit of time, but again, it's an important tool, and we're going to have to make sure that we run it every time before we start designing websites. Okay, almost there. Almost there. Almost there. I hate installs. Okay, it's coming. I swear it's going to finish soon. Alright. We know. Learn more. Yes. Oh, it finished. Okay. So now that it's finished, it's going to ask us if we want to start it. Let's go ahead and start it because I'm going to show you something here. What's always nice is if you have Skype installed, you're going to get a bunch of red code here, and it's going to complain about some things. That's totally normal, and I'm going to show you how to fix this. And we're going to do it in 2 steps. So this is going to show up if you have Skype installed, and that's because there's a conflict with the ports that this application is trying to use. Don't worry about whether you know what ports are or not. All you have to do is in your Skype, go into Tools, Options, go under Advanced, click on Connection, and uncheck this box, Use port 80 and 443. Hit Save, and then it will tell you that your changes will be applied the next time you start Skype. So, of course, let's quit Skype. And why don't we just start Skype again, just to make sure that our changes took effect. So Skype is back up and running, and we can see that we still have this here, but that's okay. So how does this work? Okay, when you first operate or open the application, each horizontal line represents one service. So the Apache service is one line, MySQL is one line, FileZilla, ECT, right? So all we're going to do is hit start. Now, if you've done the Skype configuration correctly, you're going to get a green highlight over the Apache. If it's red for any reason, you haven't done the right thing. And as you notice, the ports 80 and 443 are open, so it was able to start the connection. But personally, I don't really like this setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to configure it in a little bit of a different way. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to hit stop, and then we're going to hit configure, and we're going to select the top one, Apache httpd.com. Okay, now you're going to get all of this code. Don't worry about it. Just scroll down until you see this line, listen 80. We're going to change that to 8080. Okay, scroll down a little bit more. Lots of code, I know. Just ignore it all. You don't need to know anything about it. Server name, localhost 80. We're going to change that to localhost 8080. And then finally, you're going to see these two, document root and directory. Now this you can totally set up the way you want. And let me show you an example of that. So in my case, I'm going to set up a new folder on my D drive, and I'm going to call it Kangaroo projects, right? So what this will be is inside this folder will be every single website that we create. So what we need to do is tell our virtual environment to load every single website inside that folder, and it's pretty easy to do. Make sure you have the right drive and just put in the name of the folder. So in my case, Kangaroo projects. Is that right? Or did I do project? Projects, yeah. And then copy it again. Kangaroo projects. Projects. There we go. Good to go. Now Control S for save or file save, whatever floats your boat. And then we are going to start the service again. You see it's green, but look at what's happened here. Port has now changed to 8080. Why is that relevant? Because now I'm going to show you how we connect to our virtual server. So just in any web browser, it doesn't matter. Typically you're used to putting in www.whatever. In our case, we're running a local server. So what we type in is localhost, and then of course the port number in which the server is running off of, 8080. If you hit enter and get this screen, you've correctly installed your server. Congratulations. It's the first thing we have to do. But as you can see, there's nothing inside the directory. This is totally empty. So let's go ahead and create a folder inside of our Kangaroo projects. And let's call this, let's go project 001 and hit enter. Now, if we refresh here, ba-bang, project 001 shows up. Pretty miraculous. And if we click on this, we see again, there's nothing inside. So, hopefully you've already downloaded Notepad++. And what we're going to do now is we are going to create a very simple Hello World web page. And it's going to look like this. And we'll provide the code on the website for people who just want to do a quick copy paste. And for now, don't even worry about what this code is, just copy it verbatim. So we start with HTML and HTML. Inside this, we're going to put head and end head. Pretty straightforward. Next, body and end body. And then all we're going to do in between the body tag is type P hello world and P. Then we're going to file save as. Now this, we got to go to the D drive for in my case, and we're looking for Kangaroo projects somewhere around the K mark, project 01, and it's very important that we name this index.html. Hit save. And as you notice, the colors changed because now Notepad recognizes this as an HTML page or a web page. So let's go back to our browser. Let's go back to the local host and hit refresh. Oh man, hello world shows up right in the corner. If you've been able to follow these steps, you've actually created your first web page. Isn't that amazing? So we're going to leave it at that for now. And next, we're going to go into what I just did in terms of code. We're going to learn the basics of text, like paragraphs and so on. So just move on to the next video. And thanks for watching.